Hey guys, we are cooking pork chops today. I am going to stuff pork chops and I'm using apples and cranberries, onions and celery. Oh, they are just going to be absolutely wonderful. So join me in the kitchen while we start stuffing these pork chops.
Ready for a fresh start? Your happy place is right here on B&C's Taste of the Town with Marjorie Wordlaw,
Awesome!
where life in the kitchen is fun.
This meal is just rocking and rolling.
Flavorful.
Delicious.
Oh, and Southern charm.
This is my handy dandy.
Yep, she's got all that too.
Boom, and that is that.
Welcome back to Taste of the Town. Once again, here's Marjorie.
So with these pork chops, you guys, you want to try to find pork chops that are about 1.5 inches thick. I love pork chops, but honestly, I don't like them so super thick. So mine are really about 1 inch. Gary could probably stand it if I even got 2 inches because he often will order double cut chops when we go places, but not me. You know, I'm not for that. But because I'm stuffing these, you see, I just cut to make my own pocket. So all you're gonna do is you're gonna go to the fat side of your pork chop and you're gonna make a slit initially. Get a good sharp knife that you can start with, okay? So kind of start here, and all you're gonna do is take it pretty much inside, and be careful because you don't want to come, but try to go up close to the bone. That is one of the keys. You want to have enough room that when you begin to stuff, the stuffing can actually fit inside. So I'm just taking olive oil, you guys. Just drizzle a little olive oil over each of the pork chops, and we're not gonna drench them, but generously. Okay, so we're gonna take, and we're gonna, and you know what I even do? Look, let me tell you. Okay, so I get one side really nicely coated. I take the other pork chop, put it on top of that, okay? And that way, kind of just share that oil. That way I know I'm not overdoing it, okay? But just get it on both sides. Here on the cutting board, you got plenty of oil. Now, what I have here, you know, this is my Badia complete seasoning. I use it, everybody knows that all the time. If you have maybe issues with MSG, you're gonna want to avoid it. It does have it in it. This is garlic powder. This is my oregano, and then just salt and pepper. And of course, I'm always gonna use a little sazon Goya. So basically, I'm just gonna sprinkle a little, and then I will take my hands and kind of just rub everything in. But I would love to have my pork chops really be nicely seasoned. And I kind of like to do both sides a little bit. Here we go, both sides, just a little bit. Do this on both sides, then I'll do everything. Then I'm gonna do the same thing with all of these, okay? So that's just the garlic, and a little bit on the inside, but I'm gonna have that wonderful stuffing, and I don't want it to be too much because the stuffing is also gonna have some seasoning. But anyway, this is gonna be for 4 people. Let me go, you know what? Let's do the oregano. A little oregano, both sides. Uh-oh, Marjorie, that's a lot. Flip it. Flip it. Flip it. Okay, you get the deal. You know what I'm saying. Just season your meat well on both sides. And if these are not your seasonings of choice, you know what I always say, use the things that you really like and that you enjoy and you know your family loves. So This is just something that we like. I told you guys before, these are my standard staples for seasonings. I use them on so many different things. So we're gonna do all of that, and then just a tinge. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna do it like this, salt. Just very carefully, because I don't want a whole lot. Here we go, here we go, here we go. Here we go, here we go. But you know what's gonna happen is with that stuffing that I'm making, there's gonna be sweetness to it. So it really is gonna have that sweet, savory, and it's gonna balance everything out. Just a hint of Sazón Goya, and I'm only gonna do one side, but I'm gonna do a little on the inside, on both sides of that. Okay. If you guys have some great stuffings, I'd love for you to send me some when you're sending and requesting your emails. Send me some of your great recipes as well too. So let me get my hands again. So I tell you what, I'm gonna get these and just let them sit aside, and I am going to clean up this, you guys. I'm gonna bring over all of the stuffing mix and show you what I'm doing with that. So don't go anywhere, because when I come back, I'm gonna be ready to stuff those and get those going in that skillet, all right?
Don't go away. Taste of the Town with Marjorie Wordlaw. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Taste of the Town. Once again, here's Marjorie.
So guys, this is the stuffing, and what I do, I make very, very simple. You can make your own croutons, or you can buy them, and it's easy to make them. Just use day-old bread, you know, like a sourdough, something hearty. Just cut it up into nice chunks, and then put it into a pan on a medium heat, and use olive oil, and then you can season it with your seasonings and Parmesan. These are garlic Parmesan. I love the market I get these from, because they actually take their French bread and they do this, and it's so wonderful. It's so crispy, and so I'm gonna just use this for making my stuffing. And because I'm stuffing 4 pork chops, I really probably don't need quite all of this, but I will have additional stuffing that I'm gonna put on each plate. So we're gonna just put it in the food processor. I'm not going to do this into a fine breadcrumb, you know, because I wanted to still have some texture to it and everything. But this is a 7-ounce package, just in case you're wanting to know about that. So very quickly, you know, again, you can make really nice, elegant meals, but you know what? You don't have to kill yourself always. When you can find good ready-made things, go with it. So I'm just going to pulse. So I've got this pan on a medium heat, and this is 1 cup of softened butter. So I'm gonna say that I'm doing about maybe half of that. So now, you know what? That pan is already hot, so I'm gonna slide it off because I don't want that butter to burn. So I think I'm gonna only use about half of this onion. So maybe I'll do a little more than half. And I don't want really big hunks, because the one thing you don't want, even though we're going to go ahead and get it kind of sauteed, you don't want to bite into big old chunks of onion or the celery. Now, if you're talking about the apples, that's a different story. You don't mind so much if you bite into an apple piece, as long as it's still tender. So there we go. So now here we are with the celery. For me, that's plenty of celery. So you see I had 2 stalks, but I left this much. So really, this is probably 1 good long stalk, okay? So I'm gonna take this over and add this to the onions as they are cooking and get that in there as well. So we're gonna do the apple. I like to kind of just peel him. And you know, I just use the paring knife. You want an apple that has some tartness to it, so you don't really want to go with a really sweet apple. So you're gonna take this core out. I'm gonna only do 1/2 of that second apple. It's not gonna take 2. One apple was really plenty, okay? I can see that. You know how when you just cook, you know? I know. So I'm really gonna stop at this point. So we're gonna add the apples to it. So that's, think about it, that's actually 1 large apple and really a quarter of the other apple. And, oh, looking for my cranberries. So I know, again, you want me to measure. I would be taking my hands and just saying, okay, so this is 1/3 of a cup. And I got it heaping. Let me see what that looks like. You know what? That really looks pretty good, but I think about the bread, the stuffing I have over there. Let me add just a little bit more, a little bit. Okay, see that? So maybe that's about 1/4. I want to take, while this is going, I'm going to add a little bit of the apple cider. And this is 100% apple cider, not apple juice. So here we go. We're gonna do the same thing. This is 1/3 of a cup again, guys. And I'm gonna do 1/3 of a cup of this chicken stock. I'm gonna just do a hint of salt, just a pinch. And that's gonna just help balance out. That's it. So just a pinch of it. I'm gonna just come at this with the brown sugar. You see here, I put 1/2 cup in here. I knew I did not need 1/2 cup, this little tablespoon or so, except I'm gonna just do it this way. So when I tell you there is sweet and there is savory, I know what I am missing. I want to put a hint of lemon juice in it. I'm just gonna add a little bit. So I'm gonna tell you that's about 1/2 teaspoon. And I'm also adding just a little tiny bit of sage. And again, be careful with sage because it is, you know, a potent kind of a spice. But for me, I just feel like, that's it. Now let's see with these breadcrumbs, how many do I need? So a little more butter. Let's say this is that's a tablespoon. So we want to put a little olive oil. I'll just use this one here. In the pan, just enough to sear it. Now watch what I'm gonna do here. Very carefully. You're gonna take your stuffing and you're gonna put it inside. Don't worry, don't overstuff it too much. Put it here like this. And what I'm gonna have you do is carefully lift this and put it into the pan. Now, I should have had my toothpicks out. I usually like to take a toothpick. And I will stick that in there to kind of keep it together. You might want to actually let this cool down a little before you even begin to stuff your pork chops, guys. But you know, I'm just going ahead and doing this. I think I'm okay with that. Here's my other one. Oops. Just put it in like this, okay? It's just gonna hold them in place. And the additional stuffing, we're gonna use that on the dish when we present the plates. I tell you, I feel like I actually could have even done 6 pork chops, but you know me, I'm gonna be giving a couple of these to my friends. They are gonna be so happy to know that they don't have to worry about dinner. Okay, you guys, so I'm gonna finish getting these together. When I come back, I should have these in the oven, and they are really only going to take a few moments because we do not want pork to overcook and then to become dry. So let me do that. I'm gonna show you how I'll do the stuffing with it, and then you are gonna have your stuffed pork chop. So see you in a moment.
Don't go away. Taste of the Town with Marjorie Wordlaw. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Taste of the Town. Once again, here's Marjorie.
Okay guys, we are back, and while we were away, I went ahead and the pork chops are looking really good, but I took the additional stuffing and I put that in the pan with the pork chops. I did not start it with them because you know you don't want it to dry out. So everything is looking good, but I'm going to make a very light little gravy sauce to go over those. So I got about a tablespoon of butter. So we're gonna get that going. And this is, again, we're gonna go to the apple cider and we're gonna go to the chicken stock. So I'm gonna do probably 2/3 of a cup of the apple cider. And we're gonna do the same thing with the chicken stock. So let's do 2/3 of that. I'm just gonna use a pinch. That's about maybe 1/4 of a teaspoon. That is my all seasoning, the Badia. Again, about a pinch of salt. And I'm gonna do the same thing with the garlic powder. So let's get that stirred up. Now, this is my, chicken bouillon. It's just the granules. So I just put a little of that. That just will give it that added depth of flavor. And now what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna take a little bit, cornstarch. Here we go. Don't need much, just a little. Just a little. Little chicken stock. And we just want to stir it really, really well. I think that's pretty nice and smooth. And we're just going to slowly add this into that mixture of the chicken stock and the apple cider, okay? And let it simmer, and it is going to come to a nice little, rolling simmer, and we'll notice it begin to thicken. Is that not beautiful? Oh, I think that this is something you will love to serve to your family or your guests. So here we are. And then you want all of that wonderful saucy goodness. So when you take these out, then they are going to be able to have a nice juicy pork chop that is stuffed, and all of those flavors are going to come together just perfectly. Stuffed pork chops with apples and cranberries. So this looks absolutely delicious. I really hope you all will try it. You know my seasonings, they are standard for me. But if you like other seasonings, use them, because that's what your family enjoys, and everything will work. But basically just try to stuff the pork chops. Make that gravy or that sauce. If you want it a little thicker than what I did, just increase the amount of your cornstarch. Just be careful. Make sure you still balance your, seasonings, your flavors, your salts, and all that type of thing. But this is going to be a wonderful dinner. Like I said, add some green vegetables and you guys will be set.
Taste of the Town with Marjorie Wordlaw. Saturday and Sunday mornings at 10 a.m. on BNC and BNC Go.